suspension from 4 years ago with Garoppolo and Brissett. But in both cases, he knew Brady was coming back at some point. In this case, they know he's not coming back. And to me, that creates a different kind of challenge and burden for the Patriots. And at the time in 93, 94, I was actually at the Jordan press conference. There was a feeling he might come back at some point. There were people in our organization who wondered if he would come back and play for somebody else, that his time in Chicago was done. So I think Phil was trying to get the point across to the Bulls, and successfully, that listen, he's not coming back. You have to accept that and embrace it, and embrace the challenge of how do you want to be remembered without him on the floor, and I thought the Bulls answered that challenge.
Ian, from a organizational standpoint, business standpoint, how close is the parallel to Jerry Krause and Jerry Reinsdorf and Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft?
John's a good question. I think that Belichick is certainly more respected by the players. Even though you can say, well, the two best players just left them, and Brady and Gronkowski coming out of retirement and then forcing the trade. But clearly, Krause, although I think Jerry Krause doesn't get enough credit for the moves he made to allow those 6 championships to happen. He did also make some moves that weren't so good, but he really gets no credit whatsoever from the people inside that organization. You see it in The Last Dance, and I think that's really unfair. I think his personality and, frankly, his physical appearance really hurt him in that regard. And look, he's the one who made one of the greatest trades in NBA history to get Scottie Pippen. He gets Horace Grant. Of course, he's the one who discovered Phil Jackson. Then Kukoc and Rock, and even the role players like Kerr and Bobby Hansen and Pete Myers was actually a good find and the right kind of player to put in that role and to start a shooting guard for 81 of 82 games, because he wasn't ever going to try to replace Jordan. He was going to be a game manager, and that actually is what probably Jarrett Stidham will be asked to do for the Patriots, filling in for Tom Brady. But as far as Krause versus Belichick and Reinsdorf versus Kraft, I would say edge Patriots by a pretty good margin.
Ian O'Connor, senior writer from ESPN, with us right now on Game Night on ESPN Radio. Ian, it's funny, you mentioned Krause, and a lot of those players at the time after Jordan left rallied around the hatred of Krause to try to motivate each other, right? They all felt like Pippen was still being underpaid, all of that stuff. I'm trying to find what could the players now for the Patriots rally around, because there's obviously much different feelings there, even though there is a sense that maybe Brady and Gronk didn't necessarily want to play under the thumb of Bill Belichick.
That's a good point, Chris, and I think the Kukoc thing really is what, not that Tony Kukoc did anything wrong, but the fact that Krause chased after him and chased him around the globe for a few years, and he picked him in, the second round in 1990, finally arrived in 93. He was making more money than a number of players on that team. And I don't see a similar situation with Patriots. It would have been different if maybe Belichick brought in somebody who wasn't very well liked, who was making an awful lot of money, and I don't believe that happened. So I think what they can rally around is simply the fact that if they go 8-8, and this speaks to Belichick as well, they know what people are going to say about them. That Tom Brady had an awful lot to do with the success there. Without Brady, you guys sort of fell apart. If you look at that roster, there are still some really good football players there. Gilmore is a great, great player. Devin McCourty is as professional a guy as there is in the NFL, maybe in pro sports. And so I think there's a lot of pride in winning muscle memory, Chris, on that roster that will come to the fore and answer this challenge. I really do. I actually think the Patriots will win the AFC. And I think that until one of those other 3 franchises can prove they're confident enough to take that division away from Belichick and that team, I'll believe it when I see it.
Ian O'Connor wrote the definitive biography on Bill Belichick. It's called Belichick. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Ian, have I hit all the spots where folks can still order the book there?
Yeah, the book's 2 years old, but I could still take a pop here and there, so I appreciate it, Kevin.
There you go. Hey, listen, Ian, I'm asking you to speculate here. But what do you think Belichick's level of motivation will be in the post-Brady era versus what his level of motivation has been over the previous
Dogs, I wrote about this, that years ago,
We are here at Skid Row driving by. Still a lot of people up here.
What Tom Brady meant to his legacy, and that he was certainly at the time one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Midnight Mission.
I think he certainly respects everything that Brady has meant to his career and his legacy, but he...
We're circling around Skid Row in downtown area just to see how these people are staying safe from the coronavirus, and if they're protected. I was nearby, so I just decided to drive through downtown. One more turn and then we'll go home. people are not protected with. Not anybody's wearing masks around here. A few there with masks. Crazy. Union rescue mission.
What you want, woman? No, go ahead on now. Ain't no sense in trying to explain nothing to me. Hey, hold on. I gotta make somebody else. Go ahead on now, woman. I want to
Guy carrying a TV.
Black magic.